Sri Guru Charana Kamalebhyo Namaha. The talk between Bhakti Devi and Narad Muni went on before they reached Haridwar on the bank of Ganges. Narad Muni told Bhakti Devi, it's very difficult to find a real Vaishnava in Kali Yuga. The devotees, the sadhus you mostly meet, they are not perfect or not good. Their background is not good. Their thinking is not good. Their habits are not good. If one was habituated whole his or her life, drinking, boozing, doing all nonsense, or one was raised not rightly as a Sudra or a Chandala in his life, after becoming devotee is very difficult to control the mind like that. So Narada Muni told, Nahi Vaishnavata Kutra Sampradaya Purastara Evam Praletam Prapto Vastu Sarasthale Sthale. Oh Bhakti Devi, in every place you will not find a real devotee. It's very difficult to find. One has to be very lucky to find a devotee whose both lineages are unbroken. The chain of family tradition coming down unbrokenly from Lord Kṛṣṇa, and the chain of spiritual succession coming down unbrokenly from Lord Kṛṣṇa. Very difficult to find. Sampradaya Purasara, whose sampradaya is walking in front of him. That's what literally means. Evam pralatam prapto, in this way, real religion, real spirituality will not be followed. So one has to be very lucky to find a real sadhu, a real Vaishnava, real association. It's very difficult to find externally looking, nice is not correct. Surarse tvam dhanyosi. After hearing this, Bhakti Devi told Narada Muni, because a devotee should glorify their guru, their teacher, the Vaishnava. Similarly, Narada Muni is being glorified. Surarse tvam dhanyosi madbhagyena samagata sadhunam darshanam loke sarvasiddhi karam param. One who is fortunate will go, somehow will go and see a sadhu. Some friend will invite, some relative will invite, or some advertisement will invite. Some way one will reach a sadhu. One who reaches a sadhu is called a lucky person. But one who is more lucky, very lucky, sadhu will come to that person. So Bhakti Devi, who can be more lucky? So Narada Muni came to see her. So she glorifies. She says, all glories to you, O saintly person among demigods, because Narada Muni belongs to heaven. Guru belongs to spiritual world, Narada Muni belongs to the spiritual world. When he goes to spiritual world, he meets Lord Kṛṣṇa directly. Madhbhagyena samāgata, my fortune has brought you. My purity, my merits, my destiny has brought you to me. All glories to you. Dhanyosi means. Because sadhunam darshanam punyam, because seeing a sadhu, a real saint, invites merits, brings purity, removes sins, just by looking at the sadhu. Just by looking, not talking, not conversing, not meeting, not serving, not giving donation or paying obeisances, anything. Just looking at him. Aha, how wonderful sadhu. Says, darshanam punyam sarva siddhi karam param, brings all perfection of life, including reaching to the spiritual world, paraloka. Like that. So Bhakti Devi glorified. Narada Muni heard this and said, O Bhakti Devi, you are talking to me in Kali Yuga. You know, Kali Yuga means age of tensions, age of problems, age of hypocrisy, age of quarrel, age of bad things. But there is one good quality in Kali Yuga, he said. There is one good quality. What is that? Kalina sadrasham kopi yogo nasti varanane. Oh, beautiful Bhakti, beautiful lady, Bhakti Devi. There is no better age than Kali Yuga. There are Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga. On those ages, it was very difficult to obtain liberation. You are in Kali Yuga. It's very easy to obtain liberation in Kali Yuga because you chant Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Even the most fallen person can go Bhakti Garden. One has to be humble, humbly following Guru. Guru must be followed unconditionally. Guru must be authorized by Vedic scriptures. The Vedic scriptures must authorize that Guru. Papinopi gamisyanti nirbhayam Kṛṣṇa mandiram. By obtaining or surrendering to a authorized spiritual master, even the most sinner person can go to Krishna Loka, back to Godhead. Spiritual world is very easy. In Satya Yuga, the age duration of life was 100,000. Person could live 100,000. In Treta Yuga, 10,000. In Dwapar Yuga, 1,000. Kali Yuga is 100. Out of 100 years, we don't live 100 years. Some, maybe rarely one person lives 100 years. Out of that, 50% we sleep, 50% may use some time for earning money, sometimes some more time for spending money, sometimes talking, watching TV, taking bath, eating, and arranging, meeting friends. Where is the time? So, very difficult to find time for spiritual life. So whatever time you spend for spiritual life, it must be under the guidance of an authorized spiritual master. Then, in with a short time, Gamishyati Krishna Mandiram Nirbhayam. Without fear, you go to Krishna Loka, back to Godhead. It's very easy. So, both reached Ganges. There were Kumaras. Kumaras has arranged for them to have Bhagavatam class. Whole Bhagavatam class, it has 18,000 texts, 12 cantos. So, was arranged. The system for sitting down in front of the speaker of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is Vaishnavascha viraktascha nyasino brahmacharina. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam speaks. This is quoted in Padma Purana too. Mukhabhage sthita cha. Mukhabhage sthita te cha. Tadagre narada sthita. Means the Vaishnavas, see, Vaishnavas sit in front. Very first line is of Vaishnavas. Vaishnavas sit in the front. Why? Achyuta gotra yasyate Vaishnava. At the time of fire sacrifice, the spiritual master meditates on the Supreme Lord, and disciple dedicates his or her life to the spiritual master, where fire becomes the witness. At that time, spiritual master converses subtly with the Supreme Lord to write his or her name in his register. So when the name is registered in God's register there, the Gotra lineage changes, becomes Achyuta Gotra of that devotee. Family, God includes that devotee into his capital H in his family. That's why Vaishnavas are the topmost entities, human beings in this creation. Neither in the heaven nor in the earth. But to speak of hell, forget that. Nobody is superior to a Vaishnava. Vaishnava means whose life is a devotee, who thinks as a devotee, who feels as a devotee, who talks as a devotee, who behaves as a devotee. His manners are transcendental, like that. So devotees sit in the front, then sit those who have renounced material life, those who have renounced this world, they sit next. Then sit Swāmī, sannyasis, nyasina. Then sit brahmacharis, those who are celibate students. That fourth line. Then sit everybody. So Narada Muni, because he started this process, he sat near, next, just before the Vaishnavas, because he is the head of arranging everything. This is the process. When Kumaras opened their mouth to speak, they glorified Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. They said, Sada Sevya Śrīmad Bhāgavati Katha Yasya Sravana Matrena Harischittam Samasraye. That is the first thing they spoke. that Śrīmad Bhāgavatam should be always worshipped, read, heard, thought about, contemplated, touched every day, regularly, non-stop, nityam bhagavata sevaya. Just by doing so, by hearing Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Lord Kṛṣṇa comes to reside in the heart and never leaves. This is the statement they said. Then they said, listen, not only that, but if you say you have no time to read Bhagavatam daily, you're too busy, or you think you're very busy, or you're so proud that you think that, Bhagavatam, what that Bhagavatam will bring to me. No, like that. So he said, Slokartham slokapadam va. He says, either half a verse or 1/4 of a verse. Slokartham slokapadam va nityam bhagavatotamam. Every day, if you read Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, just one portion of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, little, 1/4 of a verse, read, just a translation, just one purport, just read 1 page or half a page or 5 lines, anything, every day. If you desirous to reach to the spiritual world, he says, patasva swamukhe naiva yadichasi param gatim. If you desire to go back to Godhead, then you must do daily studying Śrīmad Bhāgavatam like that. When the Kumaras started speaking, this message went around everywhere. All over the earth, all over the heaven. Everybody knew that Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is being spoken. Such a valuable scripture is being spoken by Kumaras. Sanak, Sanandana, Sanatana, Sanat Kumar, the 4 of them sitting. Sanatana is speaking. Who arrived? Bhrigu Muni, Vasishtha Muni, Chavana Muni, Gautama Muni, Bharadwaja Muni, Sanaka Muni, Medhatiti, Pippala Muni, Mrkanda, Markandeya's father, Markandeya, Vyasadev, Parasar Muni. So many arrived there just to listen to Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Parasuram came to listen to Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Parasuram is an incarnation of God. Vyasa Maharishi is incarnation of God. They arrived there. Bharadwaj is one of the 7 sages. Bhrigu Muni is one of the 7 sages. Markandeya never dies. Lomas Rishi never dies. They all came there. See how valuable is Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Not only human beings can get liberation, he said, even the ghosts can get liberation, for which they related one story, a history, saying that atrate kathisyami itihasam puratanam yasya sravanamatrena papani prajayate. O sages, I will speak to you one age-old, one very ancient history that happened. I'll tell you how ghosts can also be liberated, he said. By hearing about this history, you will reduce your sins. It says, Papahani Prajayate. Said that in Tungabhadra Nadi, on the bank of Tungabhadra Nadi, there was a Tungabhadra is a river. It runs between Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh. I think it's near Srisailam, it joins there, you find. Starts Karnataka somewhere. It runs there, South India. On the bank of Karnataka, there was living a pure Brahmana, very learned. His name was Atmadev, and his wife was Dhundhukari. The, the Brahmana was very saintly, very learned, very gentle, but wife was very cunning, very mischievous, irreligious. Sometimes destiny unites one of the spouse to be irreligious, obstinate, not thinking, like that. One of the spouses. Very rare to find both of them, husband and wife, are good and devotees, real devotees. Very difficult. The Brahmana was learned in Vedas. Wife was very not good person. They lived somehow but had no children. Na putro na pi putri cha. He had neither son nor daughter. Nobody took birth from that lady. Sometimes God decides that way. So Brahmana was very much in anxiety that, I will be dead as a householder, you must have a child, so carry on with the dynasty. I will be dead or I will become old, then how can I train a child properly? It takes birth, like that. So he was in anxiety. One day, being despondent, he left the house and went to forest, sitting under a tree, very much in anxiety. Oh God, why you made me a householder? Householder means must have a child. At least one or two. Manusmriti says having one son is equal to having no sons. Therefore, one must have at least two sons. Because something happens to one remains like that. So he was sitting under a tree. There came a sannyasi to him and said to Atmadev, the Brahmin, "Oh Brahmin, you look like you are in anxiety. What happened to you? Your face shows you are lamenting." If sannyasi says something like that, then Brahmin has to speak out the truth. He said, somehow or other I'm made to become a grihastha. I have a wife and I don't have a child. So grihastha means having a child, so I don't have a child. Sannyasi felt pity on him and he gave him a piece of fruit. Chanted a mantra and gave him a piece of fruit. You give it to your wife. If she eats this fruit, she will have a boy, he said. Ah, really? Paid his obeisances, had trust. One must trust a devotee. Very difficult to find a devotee whom you can trust. But if you found a real devotee and you don't trust him fully, then you are offensive. So he trusted and brought the fruit, gave it to his wife Dhundhukari. Kutila Dhundhukari Patni. Kutila means hard-hearted, obstinate, no surrender. It's called Kutila. she asked, what will happen if I eat this fruit? He said, you will have a boy. If you eat this, please eat this, we want to have a boy. So she did not say anything. Duplicitous. Think something else and speak something else. Think something else, speak something else. Think something and speak something else, act something else. That is called Kṛṣṇa. So she did not let her husband know that she will not eat. But inside the heart, she did not want to eat because she don't want to have children. So an anxiety, Kutila, because husband left. He has to do his Vedic activities. Left the house, and she thought, wow, I will have a problem, I will have pains of having a baby, and when a baby is in my womb, I cannot eat enough, I will have verps, bad verps. I could not be sitting, I will have this, and go through birth pains, and then I have to breastfeed, and clean the baby when he passes stool. All those things she thought. Said, oh, my life will become miserable. And she told the friends, her friends, she had friends. They somehow or other started talking, and her sister came. She was pregnant. And she related to her. Dhundhukari related to her problem. So her sister said, oh, I will have a baby. I am pregnant. I'll give it to you. Don't eat this fruit. I'll give you my baby, because the sister was not rich. Atmadev was well-to-do. So he had money. So Dhundhukari was well-to-do in that way. But her sister was not rich, poor. So she said, I'll give it you. You give me some money, I'll give it to you, child, baby. So Dhundhukari became very happy, and Atmadev did not know anything of this. Dhundhukari wanted to know if this fruit will work. So she gave it to the cow. Cow ate the fruit, seedless fruit. Cow ate it. Cow became also pregnant. Cow became pregnant. And this Dhundhukari lady, she inserted some clothes under her shirt, slowly increasing her belly. So Atmadev saw his wife is pregnant, and pregnant wife should not be touched by man. So he did not touch her. So pregnant, he was very happy. Oh, my wife became pregnant. Thank you, Swāmīji, in his mind, thanking Swāmīji. Due course of time, her sister gave birth. Unknown to Atmadev, Brahmin, she came to the house of Dhundhukari and gave the baby to him, to her sister, and took the money. And Dhundhukari removed her clothes from inside his shirt, her shirt, and had the baby. Baby started crying. Atmadev heard that. A cry one day he heard. Oh, my heaven. So he gave some charities to the Brahmins, invited, and they made a horoscope and all those things, and fire sacrifice came in 11th day. 11th day or 18th day or 21 days or 27 days depends on the birth star. A fire sacrifice takes place for purification of the child and the birth-giving mother, like that. And of course, this cow also gave birth to a boy. Just imagine, fruit of the sadhu, service to sadhu never goes in vain. So, cow gave birth to a boy. A boy came, looking exactly like a boy, but only ears were like cows. So fire sacrifice was held, and what name should we say to the boys? So Dhundhukari said, no, my boy's name will be Dhundhukari. I want my son's name to be Dhundhukari, depending on my name. But her name was Dhundhukari, he wanted Dhundhukari. And what name should we give to the boy from the cow? They said, okay, let's give us Gokarna. Means his ears are like cows, therefore his name should be Gokarna. It happened. Gokarna and Dhundhukari, they grew up. The Gokarna became very saintly, learned in the scriptures, and Dhundhukari learned all bad habits, became very rowdy person. Seeing the behaviors of his son, Atmadev Pandit was very much upset. One day Gokarna saw father to be in despondency. He said, Dharmam bhajasva satatam tyaja loka dharman sevas sadhu purushan jahi kama trushnam. Oh father, go to forest, chant, perform devotional service there, go to some ashram, live in the ashram. Relinquish all this life, not good. Do sadhu seva, seva sadhu. Seva sadhu purushan. Relinquish all material relationships. Jahi kama trushnam. Like that. So he told him to go Karna. Heard by his father, and father left the house. Then Gokarna also decided, okay, let me go to the holy places. I go move around. Young man, in young age should be perform holy places, going to holy places. Because in old age is very difficult. He went. This side Dhundhukari became free. Oh, there is no father, there is no brother, nobody. So I do what I want. So he became a thief, robber, like that. And drinking and eating meat and boozing and whatever else, and prostitution. So all money of the house is spent. So he asked the mother, give me money, I need money. So mother said, I don't have money. All money is gone, you took. I don't know. No, you have hidden somewhere. So he beat her up. When she got beaten by the boy, her son, so-called son, she jumped in the well and died there. She died. This side is a guy says, oh, house is empty, let me bring my prostitutes. So he brought 5 of them in the house. And every day stealing and bringing valuables required to maintain the ladies in the house. So one day the ladies thought, he's not getting caught now, but one day he will get caught by police, and they will bring him home, and they will see us, and we will also be involved in stealing. Because of us, he's stealing. Therefore, we will also be punished. So they thought, let's get rid of this guy. So when at night Dhundhukari went to sleep, a deep sleep, 2 of them tied his legs and hands. 2 of them tied a noose around the neck and held both ways. And pulling the noose, because sinner very easy, does not die so easily, it does not die so quickly. Sinners are more punishment required. So when they're pulling the noose from both sides, still he did not die. His mouth was open and making sounds. So the 5th lady brought a red hot charcoal, burning red hot, and inserted in his mouth, and thus he died. He became a ghost. Because he had association of saintly person, Atmadev and Gokarna, so he remained in the house. When he became ghost, his body was destroyed. Ghost means subtle, having a subtle body. Soul has two kinds of bodies, one subtle body, mind, intelligence and ego, and this gross body which we see. Subtle body cannot be seen because mind cannot be seen, intelligence cannot be seen, and false ego cannot be seen. So, he had subtle body and he had so many desires, passion. So he was running out inside the house. Kṛṣṇa returned one day. Some days after he returned from his holy places and he fell asleep in that house because the house belonged to them. So when he was sleeping and he saw these sounds, he heard sounds and running sounds and crying out. So he woke up, asked, Kṛṣṇa asked. A pure devotee can ask anything. Who are you? So he said, oh, I am your brother Dhundhukari. I died untimely, therefore I became a ghost. Please liberate me, help me. A sadhu, a real sadhu has no revenge. Sadhu has no deference. Sadhu is help, exists in this world to help others, everyone, including his enemies. That is the sadhu. So he said, okay, let me arrange. So next day, Kṛṣṇa pray to relieve the ghost form from his brother. He arranged for speaking Bhāgavatam. This same Kṛṣṇa was in the class of Sukadeva Goswami when he was speaking to Parikshit Maharaj. So he knew Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. This is a long story from happening a long time. I'm speaking very shortly. So 200 years after Sukadeva Goswami spoke, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is spoken by this Kṛṣṇa. He invited all the village people to listen to Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. And when he sat down to speak Bhāgavatam, he told his assistant to stick a pole on the ground which has 7 knots, a bamboo pole should be inserted in the ground having 7 knots in it, because each foot has a knot in bamboo. So 7 knots should be above the ground and everything else should be inserted in the ground so it stands. So some people curiously ask, why is that? Why this pole or bamboo was made stand in front of you? He said, my brother has turned into a ghost because he died untimely, ferociously, therefore he has to come and sit down. Ghosts cannot sit anywhere, cannot touch anything material, they can only sit on a bamboo. That's why in Vedic civilization, dead body is carried on the bamboo stick. They make into a stretcher, and the bamboo is cut into pieces and made into a stretcher, and that's where the dead body is taken to cremation. Because this bamboo is the only resting place for the ghost. So now Dhundhukari sat on the bamboo and started speaking Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Kṛṣṇa. When Kṛṣṇa was speaking Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Dhundhukari was attentively listening. Sometimes some sinners become very serious because they know they have sinned seriously. They sinned whole their life. Now, wow, I will go to hell. They get afraid. And thus they become very serious in spiritual path. That is also very good quality. If become serious, whatever sins you accumulated, not worry about the sins, worry about how to remain serious and sincerely perform spiritual life is very good quality. So this Dhundhukari had this quality. He heard 7 first day, then 1 knot made tip sound broke. Second day, 2nd knot broke. 7 days, 7 knots broke. The 7 knots were pierced, broken. So the bamboo turned into 2 pieces like this, like a V4. Everybody could see. When 7 days completed, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam was thoroughly completed, a Vimana or celestial plane landed there, and this Dhundhukari sat on the plane while everybody was watching, and that Dhundhukari going back to Godhead. The audience, the village people curiously looked at Gokarna. Gokarna understood what they wanted to know, so Gokarna asked this attendants of Vimana, why you brought only 1 Vimana? Everybody heard the same Bhagavatam. So they said that they have not heard the way Dhundhukari heard. Dhundhukari had full faith and Shraddha, dedication. That's why we brought only 1, because these people, they had their own ways and they're thinking, oh, we are invited, so we are listening anyway. Oh, these are just stories, and man, some kings and some this and some that, God we have not seen, and, all these kinds of thoughts they have. That's why we brought only 1. But if they listen carefully, properly, if they full faith, there will be Vimanas coming for them. Individual Vimana for individual person. 1 for 1. So Gokarna, actually it is true, Vishnu Purana says, Sakratucharitam yena haririthyakhyaradvayam baddha parikarastena mokhyaya gamanam prati. Actually it is true. Sakrut ucharitam. Sakrut means really, from heart, honestly, sincerely, really, with full faith and no doubt. If somebody performs spiritual life, chants Hare Kṛṣṇa, read Bhāgavatam, hears Bhāgavatam, like that, then Vimana comes, descends from the spiritual world, and the attendants of Vimana, called Devadutas, Vishnu Dutas, they fold their hands, please come sit on this Vimana, we want to take you to back to Godhead. Baddha parikarastena, how nice it is. One can go back to Godhead with full respect. That's why Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is very important. One should live Bhagavata life by chanting Hare Kṛṣṇa, taking Kṛṣṇa Prasadam, living very simply, thinking positively, meek and humble, having proper manners. Manners will come by chanting every day. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is an incarnation of God, literally, book incarnation of God. Śrīmad Bhāgavate Mahāmuni Krute Kimba Parir Ishvara. There is no difference between God who comes or Bhāgavatam book. We must touch Bhāgavatam to our head and start reading. Beginning, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva. Oh Bhagavat, oh Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, you are equal to Vasudeva, Lord Kṛṣṇa, like that. Gokarna spoke Bhāgavatam and ghost got liberated. You may wonder when it happened. Parikhyat sarvanantecha kalau varsha satadvaye. When Parikhyat heard Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, after that 200 years passed, Gokarna spoke Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. When did Sukadeva Goswami speak Bhāgavatam? Tasyapi kalo prapti trisat barasa gate api. 30 years passed in Kali Yuga. When Kali Yuga started, right after 30 years, Sukadeva Goswami spoke Śrīmad Bhāgavatam to King Parikhyat. And after 200 years, Gokarna spoke Śrīmad Bhāgavatam to Dhundhukari. So means 230 years of Kali Yuga. Means the fragrance from Dwapar Yuga were still felt. There was more religiosity, more austerity, more kindness, more purity were there. People were not that bad at that time. Golden age was like that. Like a golden age. People were more pious. Let us be pious, be Kṛṣṇa conscious. Kṛṣṇa will help us. We will go back to Godhead. Because we have full faith in the words of our spiritual master. A disciple must have full faith, unconditional surrender to the spiritual master. Vishwaso Guru Vakyeshu Swāmī Dīnatva Bhāvana. Full faith at the words of spiritual master. My Guru told me that you are learned, you go and preach in English. You preach, you speak, bring money. In those days, my Guru was building temple in Vrindavan. So I was sent out to bring money. Until today I am bringing money. I am preaching. Just taking initiation and not following Guru. Guru's desires. Whatever Guru desires, disciples should supply. Whatever Guru wants, disciples should do. That is called dedication. Vishwasam Guru Vakyeshu Swāmī Dīnatva Bhāvana. Must remain meek and humble. But Guru must be perfect. If Guru is not perfect, you got to relinquish that Guru. Then you will have good results. When you relinquish a Guru who is not authorized by scriptures and accept another initiation from a Guru who is authorized by Vedic scriptures, ancient scriptures, then your success is sure. You are not offensive. You don't need to think that you will become offensive to this Guru, who is not a Guru, if you relinquish him. No. You will become more meritorious for sure. Thank you very much. Jai Shri Radhe.